Gimbals and gimbals and gimbals, there's so many and so good these days. Welcome to 2019, where gimbals already have outstanding stabilization, good algorithms, well-working apps and almost no noise in the motors. Here's the iSteady Multi for action cams, smartphones and compact cameras. Welcome everyone, this is the Tech4O YouTube channel, the place where we inspect cool tech. And this year, releasing new gimbals happens at unbelievable pace, kind of difficult to catch up. And I know, this is a tough job to choose the best one. Feels like there are a few models from different brands that can be labeled as the best ones. And we're here to check the details and figure out whether this one is a good choice for you. Hohem, the company behind this gimbal, have released a new generation of their iSteady series, which are so popular because of the good performance, excellent build quality, long-lasting battery, and of course, the price. This is the Multi, which is supposed to be somewhere between the smartphone gimbals and the pro-grade gimbals for DSLR and mirrorless cameras. I say somewhere between because it can also stabilize compact digital cameras up to 400 grams, which is quite a limitation, and also it is better specialized with Sony digital cameras. And while I have no Sony camera available for testing right now, I'm gonna show you how it performs with other kinds of cameras, and I have chosen the weird form factors because that's what this kind of mounting mechanism can offer. In this video, a bunch of tests, the hardware specs and features, controls, and more of the footage that you like. My impressions are based on about 2 months of testing, so yeah, I think I've collected enough of experience to share with you. Let's begin with the unboxing. Good looking box, giving the confidence that it is meant to be a good one. This gimbal is positioned to be mid-range, and while heavy cameras are out of scope, it can handle lighter compact cameras, not heavier than the mentioned 400 grams. This new member of the iSteady line also arrives with a carrying case, which is a hard one and well protective, and one of the things I appreciate the most about Hohem as a brand. There's a good tripod mount included, metal one, meaning that it gives pretty good stability to the gimbal when necessary. You may also use it as an extension, especially when mounting heavier cameras. At the first sight, the control unit seems to be the same as other iSteady models of this year, and we're gonna come back to this in a moment. Quick release mount, smartphone clamp, cables, this is all included in the box and makes the setup look quite nice. Priced at around 160, seems to be a reasonable choice for hobbyists. Hard to say it is a pro-grade model due to the absence of support for DSLRs and mirrorless cameras, and therefore high-end features like D-Cine-alike, V-Lock and many others remain a privilege for the more expensive cameras, which are supported by more expensive gimbals. In that sense, the iSteady Multi is not much different to the G6 Plus by Feotech, however more than twice cheaper. The mentioned G6 Plus model has also been reviewed here on the channel, and I'm linking the video for your convenience. The hardware specs of this iSteady member are promising. 530 grams total weight, battery capacity is 3600 mAh, good for 8 hours of operation, a zoom in and out button alongside the rest of the controls, and 2 tripod mount screws, one on the side, one on the bottom. Basically, this gimbal seems to be sort of the iSteady Mobile 2 on steroids, having similarly powerful motors and pretty much the same kind of controls. Take a look, the angle movement limitations are about the same, 600 degrees panning. I wish it was unlimited here, but it's not. The other 2 axes are 320 degrees each, and generally that's good enough. Confirmed now, apparently specifications are good enough, so let's talk about control features. The best integration is with Sony cameras, where through the control cable you may use extra features and control the shutter and the zoom via the gimbal itself. Second best integration have the smartphones, because the smartphone app connects wirelessly. Having no cables is always better than having some of them. There's not much that you have to remember. The power button turning on the gimbal with a long press, which also can act as a shutter button by momentarily pressing it, and it also works when connected to compatible Sony cameras or smartphones. The mode button is just above that. There's also a zoom slider on the side, and on the back, the trigger button. We're now ready to add some payloads and explore the controls. Very important step is balancing the device that you're going to stabilize. Failing to do that properly will likely result in worse performance and unwanted vibrations. So take your time, make sure it is well balanced, no matter what you place on top. Here are the modes available. First one is pan follow. That's the default mode. Powering on the gimbal leads to that mode. The LED is blinking once every few seconds. Double click, and that is already the pan and the tilt follow, and you only have the horizon locked. Third mode, chosen by a triple press and apparently recognizable by a triple LED blink, that's the all lock mode, perfect for shooting activities that are happening in one and only direction. And the fourth mode, all follow, or some people call it POV. That's often my favorite, but you have to be careful with it. By using this mode, leveling the gimbal like that, you can also take advantage of the famous Inception mode, which weirdly on Hohem's website is marked as Inspection mode. Well, that's the mode I am ever since the channel was created. Inspecting cool tech is what we do here, and that's a kind reminder to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. The last unexplored button is called the trigger button. Pressing it triggers the sports mode and the gimbal becomes much more responsive, however no longer offering smoothness. Therefore it is suitable for shooting sport activities where things happen really quickly. It can also recenter the gimbal. I believe that most of the controls are way nicer and easier than what other brands offer. Looking at you, DJI. And perhaps the 2019 iSteady series are almost up to par with what Zhuwin have presented with their recently released Smooth Qt 2. The third big topic is the smartphone app, which I'm happy to say is nicely upgraded. There are a few different Hohem apps in Play Store. Be careful which one you get. This is called Hohem Gimbal and is used for a few other iSteady models. Connection is easy. Enable Bluetooth and location settings, bind it with the phone, and you can then start using it. It can fine-tune the motors if any vibrations appear in certain angles, and you can increase or decrease the reaction time of the motors. I often prefer smoother movements, and lowering the defaults is one of the first things I do on my gimbals. But you may prefer it otherwise, and it all depends on the scene you shoot and your own preference. Although the assembly offers no remote control, if a GoPro is attached or another action camera, you can use the phone instead of a remote, and that with a pretty high success rate. So I truly like the fact that this gimbal has brought to life some of my old favorite action cameras which can shoot 4K, however cannot use electronic image stabilization in that resolution. And it's really great, models like the GoPro Hero 5, the SJ7 Star, Firefly 8S, the Mijia 4K, the GitUp F1. Do you remember this action camera even? Well, it's a great opportunity. Now I'm recording this with the GoPro Hero 8, which doesn't really need a gimbal. It's so good at image stabilization. But I wanted to try one last function, and this was the audio quality. Not that the gimbal has an embedded microphone, not at all, but it's the cameras that you shoot with, they usually have, and very often, with some older models of gimbals, you can hear motor noise. I wanted to figure out how good the motor noise or how much the motor noise is in here. It's quiet now. And I guess that's pretty good. Like a few weeks ago I have been testing the Smooth Qt 2, which was setting a benchmark in this area with pretty much zero motor noises, and I think the iSteady Multi comes pretty close to that. And what do you think about this gimbal? $160 and you're getting a device which can stabilize smartphones, action cameras, compact cameras, pretty much anything that weighs up to 400 grams and can shoot any kind of footage. Should be also above 80 grams because otherwise the motors would go crazy. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If that video was useful for you, hit the like. If you enjoyed the channel, then maybe you can think about subscribing. I'm Michael, and I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers!